Check it out, ladies. Not too bad. And I did the inside and the envelope. Join me in the craft room and I'll show you how. Last week I drew Cajun Craze and falling flowers. So my ink is Cajun Craze, and from my falling flowers I'm going to be using this leaf spray, this little guy, and this spray. And since that one doesn't have any sentiments, I pulled out Postcard Pals, and I'm going to use Be Your Wonderful Self. I felt it needed a sentiment. For my cards, I have a piece of Cajun Craze that's 3/8 of an inch by 2 1/4. Yes, 2 1/4. Had to check that. My Very Vanilla, because that's what I went with rather than the Whisper White, is 2 1/4 by 4 1/2. I have a layer of Cajun Craze that's, oops, I gotta fix that. That's what I get for not checking the size. And I did it again. Oh my gosh. It's because it's 2 1/2. Hold on. All right, let's start again. You need a piece of Very Vanilla that's 2 1/2 by 4 1/2. You need a piece of Cajun Craze for a layer that's 2 3/4 by 4 3/4. Your cardstock base is Very Vanilla, and it's 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. And you have your envelope. Quick and easy card today. First thing I'm going to do is I am going to stamp my background on my card base. So I'm going to use the Flourish, and I'm going to ink it up. My pad's really juicy. Hope it's not too juicy. And then I want to do it this way. Okay, got that down. All right, and then I'm going to use the same image to do my envelope and the inside of my card. Oh, I don't want to close that. You can tell it's not my favorite color. I don't use it much. It's still really juicy. And then this piece I'm going to stamp over here so that it's very light inside, and you can write over top of that if you need to. Why do I keep trying to close that? All right. I'm going to put my sentiment down here, and the reason I'm doing my sentiment first is I'm only going to use the top of this. Let me make sure this is straight so that my sentiment is straight. There we go. All right. Now this piece I'm going to attach, and I've got to recut it. All right, I recut this, and it's 3/8 of an inch by 2 1/2. That piece is going to go there. So I'm just going to set it there. It's going to be my guide. And now I'm going to take, and I'm going to ink this up and stamp it. This would be a great card for a guy. I'm going to ink this one up. I'm going to stamp it here, and then I'm going to go over here and give me a scrap paper. Hold on, I'm just grabbing what I have here because I want to go off lighter. Okay. As I was saying, this would be a great card for a guy because there's no flowers with it or any of that kind of stuff that usually they don't particularly care for, although there are guys that don't care. Sometimes you need just a masculine card. You don't want to always send them flowers. All right, and now this is going to go here, and I pulled it up a little higher than normal because for some reason there was some ink there. And now I'm going to put this on my card. That's my layer that's the right size finally. Did you ever have days like that? Goodness gracious. All right, and I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to put this on with Dimensionals. Actually, I'm going to use a piece of fun foam. Okay. I cut my fun foam the same size as my piece here. You don't want it to go all the way to the edge because then you can see it. This way it'll go in there without any trouble. And this goes on with your glue. And you just kind of center it side to side. And then I hold it a little bit so that it grabs. Pull my card over. And then you're going to do the same thing with the back of this. Okay, so I've added my glue. And I'm going to put this, ooh, almost dropped it, right about there. And I need a big block to go on the back. And my big block is here. All right, so I'm going to set that aside. That just kind of makes sure that it grabs really good. And while that's drying, we will go ahead and choose my color and stamp set for next week. So let's see what we have. And I am not looking, I promise. Believe me, I wouldn't have looked. I wouldn't have chosen Cajun Craze. Okay, I've got a little wild. Ooh, I like that. All right, now let me make sure I get a decent color for that. Although that's the animals, I can do just about any color. And Poppy Parade. I don't think I've used Poppy Parade at all. All right, so there's what we've got. All right, and this should really set a little bit longer. So what I'll do is after I'm finished, there's my card and the inside of the envelope. I hope I've inspired you today. Feel free to share my video. Cajun Craze is not one of my favorite. I know we all have colors we're not too fond of, but I made it work. At least I had a decent stamp set. I hope you will join me next week when I do a little wild using Poppy Parade. Pull out your stamps and ink. Get creative. Have a great day.